we go. Cool. Yeah, I actually can do versus when it comes to movies as well. Now, Superman versus Batman, of course, has been out now for. Let's look at where we're at. About 6 weeks now. Where Civil War Captain America has been out for not even a week yet. So, different 9 criteria. Of course, I got male lead, special effects, female lead, and/or leads, villains, supporting cast, overall story. How well did it flow? Did it make sense? Money, music. Again, music is a personal preference. And was it close to the comic that it was based off of? So, get right into this. Male lead. Of course, this one I got 2 different leads on both sides. I've got Superman and Batman on one side, and Captain America and Iron Man on the other side. Sorry, there's really no direct way of putting this. I'm looking at 2 characters who have been together for numerous films. Robert Downey Jr. is flat out killing it as Iron Man, and Chris Evans is doing a great job as Captain America. Well, I will say, on the other side, Henry Cavill is a good Superman. He's probably one of the best ones we've had in a live-action setting. Yes, Chris Reeve was very good. He's good for what is his time period, though. But Ben Affleck, again, he's a good Batman. I think had this film come out with him being around for a little bit longer, it might have had a lot more gravitas to it. Special effects. Both these films are super heavy laden with special effects. I will say, looking at the 2, when it comes to the epicness of the fight sequences, Superman vs. Batman has it. That ending fight sequence where it's between Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, and Doomsday is an impressively laid out visual effects piece. Downside. Warner Brothers likes to do fights at night. I understand why, because it allows you to get away with some choppiness here and there. But they do these massive, grand battles. But they miss all the nuances. Flip over to Marvel. Marvel's fights are happening during the day. Rarely happening indoors. Normally you've got the counters of shadows, and you've got more of here's a small group of people fighting a small group of people. And it's more of that intimacy. It's more of the character dynamic when it comes to what's actually going on, and less of just, hey, how hard and fast can we hit stuff and blow stuff up? And the visual effects they had for the fluidness of Spider-Man, the fluidness of Captain America, the fluidness of Black Panther, the way they've done the Vision, every person looked really well done and really well defined. On the other side, Superman, Batman looked good. The initial version of Doomsday, I love the fact that they actually gave him he actually evolved throughout the process. It made him look better. He went from gray, Orokai, Ninja Turtle, hybrid to actual Doomsday. But the fight, while very epic in scope, really did kind of lack some of the more nuances that you actually see done very well on the Marvel side. Female lead. Now I'm looking at Scarlet Witch, Black Widow versus Wonder Woman and Lois Lane. I'm going to have to give this one to Superman versus Batman. Hear me on this one. Scarlett Johansson doing a solid job. Elizabeth Olsen is a phenomenal actress. Phenomenal actress. They both kind of have issues when it comes to their accents. And while Wanda was the most powerful person on Cap's team, by far, she didn't really feel like she had that massive... she was pretty much there to help even the score, essentially. And to have the moments with Vision. I get that. But only one of those 4 characters is going to have a solo film. So it means that there definitely is a lot of potential behind that character. First time Wonder Woman has been seen live action since early 80s, Linda Carter era. So, I probably say that when it comes to the final fight sequence, Scarlet Witch and Black Widow are used in the middle fights. They're nowhere near the finale. Wonder Woman shows up at the finale, and has a very major impact on the overall story. Villains. Ooh. I'm looking at Baron Zemo and Crossbones on Civil War side versus Lex Luthor and Doomsday. Crossbones does not do a lot in Civil War. Baron Zemo is the guy in the background. Not a lot of screen time. Yes, I will say Jesse Eisenberg had moments where he was a great Lex Luthor, other moments where he'd been a phenomenal Joker. He was like Lex Luthor Joker, which actually has existed in a comic before this Doomsday bind that I've got. That's the thing of Doomsday. That is the end of Black Reign. More of Reign of Superman. Reign of Doomsday. Reign of Doomsday. Reign of Doomsday. Bear with me here. That's Doom Boy. They actually did an amalgam issue in Superman Batman where they actually combined Doomsday and Deathstroke, but they also had Lex Joker. Pretty much it's just Lex Luthor and Joker combined. So character actually has an existence, which is odd. And Doomsday. Doomsday had a tremendous impact in that overall story. Supporting cast. Sorry. You're looking at a film that's got a lot more built into it. It does a lot better job because you actually have a true supporting cast, a true ensemble. When it comes to story, both these I think had a lot of tangents between the two of them, but I'd probably say from an overall story aspect and how much it's going to impact not just the story of that film, but the story progressing both ways. On one side, you've got the team coming together and Superman dying. On the other side, you've got the team fully disintegrating, knowing that something massive is on the horizon that's going to require them to try to work as a team, and they can't because they're splintered. Versus something massive is going to happen and there is no team. I will go with the Captain America side. Probably because I think that they put enough things into motion to have multiple films splinter out of it, and it also plants the seeds to go into another massive arc. Money, sorry, we're not even that far into things, and it's Superman vs. Batman. It's going to make money. It's going to do well, but Marvel at this point in time could do a Howard the Duck film, and it's going to make, it's going to gross probably over $300 million easily. Music. I've got more. Captain America did a lot more actual songs. There was more orchestral when it comes to Superman vs. Batman. I have to go with. I'm a big fan of the more orchestral sound to it. I did tell him after Superman vs. Batman, I was like, man, I would have killed for Danny Elfman thrown in there. I do like the way the music plays into it because it plays more into that epic feel to it. It also plays more into the definitely an older sort of group. But I will say I preferred the music more. Close to comic. This is going to be a tough one. Captain America Civil War, beyond superheroes fighting each other and essentially a version of the Superhero Accord, or like Superhero Registration Act, pretty much. There's really nothing else that really ties to it. Spider-Man didn't reveal his identity, which is a massive part. Captain America didn't lose his life in the epilogue. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that happened that could not happen because they don't own all of the rights. They couldn't use the New Warriors, and that there was no creation of Speedball going to Penance. There's a lot of big things from Civil War that did not happen. Actually, Superman vs. Batman. You've got assigned to the Frank Miller work in the mid-'80s. You got the Superman arc. And for those two, it actually did a decent enough job. Yes, they didn't have the more neocon aspect where a Ronald Reagan sort of character was controlling Superman's actions, therefore leading to a much more despotic version of the not too distant future. You know, so it didn't have a lot of the big things that Frank Miller really pushes. But I'd probably say that, you know, it didn't have all of the characters, but I think that there's more correlation to what happened in the comic. Knowing this one was based off of 2 individual arcs, Death of Superman is pretty much Superman dying. Everyone else was just kind of there. The Justice League at that time should have been killed in a couple of pages, exception of Bloodwind, probably Guy Gardner. But either way, these 2 films going head to head, it's a 5-4. Marvel Civil War is definitely a more superior film. You know, the things that really actually help it is, one, is the film is so much farther down the chronological order. You know, I've told people in the past that if you want to really do a fair comparison, you actually compare Superman versus Batman to Iron Man 2. That's essentially where it kind of nets out at. This film is the prequel to the Justice League film, which Iron Man is a prequel to the Avengers. I think that's actually the more accurate comparison between the two. It's compared to Iron Man 2. Just in, you know, you've got a few characters that are kind of introduced, but you introduce a couple more characters that become really major players. And it's a lot more of a setup to the next film than a standalone film. So either way, putting these two against each other in this sort of format, you know, it's Marvel is absolutely obliterating DC when it comes to the big screen. Small screen, I should say small, non-Netflix. You know, small screen. So we're looking at just your basic regular TV shows. There's a lot more that are coming out from DC, and all in all, they're actually of better quality than Marvel. If you include Netflix, well then yeah, then Marvel takes a lead because, you know, it's a lot easier to film everything at one time, have larger budgets, and next to 0 restrictions. It allows you to do whatever you want to do for a TV show. So if it comes right down to it, worst comes to worst, your winner ends up being, of course, Deadpool. Deadpool hits every single mark you could possibly want when it comes to a film. And it's got a love story, it's got tremendous action, it's got humor, it's great to see in 3D. And it's just probably one of the best summer superhero films you're ever going to see. Soon to be available on DVD and Blu-ray.